What's going on, y'all? Uh, Figured I'd do another live today. I figured that this was kind of important to get out today, and it's actually about what you see right here in the title, about why people on your LinkedIn do not engage with you and what it really means. So, at first, I was really the type of person when I first started my whole marketing career, right? To get really hyped up about people who were always connecting with me on LinkedIn, right? And I would get all these different connections, meet all these new different people, and silence, right? I wouldn't get any sales. Shit, I wouldn't even get referrals, to be honest with you, right? But I noticed that there were a few things here that kind of made me question, well, why aren't these guys like actually interacting? Why aren't these guys actually, engaging, commenting, liking a post, even, right? So I stepped back a little and I realized that it wasn't me, it wasn't them, it was the content some of the time, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try my best to try and break this down, the whole psychology part and the platform mechanics of LinkedIn, right? So I noticed that as of right now, right, when someone sends me, even you watching this live right now, a connection request on LinkedIn, and as of right now in this current time, you don't even know this person, 9 times out of 10, they're not trying to build a community. What they're doing is they're prospecting. They're looking for leads. They're looking for a new client in some kind of way, right? Which is why I don't even send out connection requests anymore, just so you guys know. I don't send them out at all. And I'm always like getting like different kind of people coming in, right? And at one point I had to stop looking at LinkedIn like it was Instagram. I did. And also realize that this is not some sort of app that you build friendships on. It's a marketplace. It's literally a marketplace and it's disguised as a networking platform. Now, if I'm wrong, correct me, just drop a comment down below. And this is what I realized what's likely happening. The first thing is intent misalignment, right? So they end up connecting with me, right? And it's because I fit some sort of filter that they have. Whether it was a founder, a marketer, nonprofit, location, geographical location here being Allentown, whatever. It doesn't fucking matter, right? But so what I was being was a data point in their search results. And what they were doing was they were scanning for some kind of opportunity and not building a real rapport, not a real relationship. And I also noticed that if my content did not immediately signal that, hey, I'm a buyer, a collaborator, or an influencer in their niche, they mentally kind of tag me as, hey, not now, I'm going to move on to something else. And I've been getting a whole lot of that lately. um I think it's more or less because they're not in really looking for a consultant, right? And don't get me wrong, consulting is a very difficult field to be in, right? The sales pipeline dries up. You don't get the referrals as much. You don't get the turnovers. You don't get the conversions that you really look for. Huge. Okay, I'll text you back later. You don't get the turnover rate that you're really looking for, right? But just moving on. The second thing I noticed with that was that there was no investment whatsoever. And I realized that people engage with people they feel attached to. If they do not know your story, if they do not know your struggle, they do not know your mission, your values, they're not going to feel shit, plain and simple. And the engagement is what I would like to consider emotional. No attachment really and no reaction at all from it, right? Now, when it comes down to the LinkedIn behavior economics behind this, most users just don't engage. Period, point blank. Like most users just don't engage at all, because what LinkedIn I noticed seems to do is the average LinkedIn user, what they really do is they just consume the content silently. Kind of like if you're on some other social media platform, you're constantly doom scrolling through your phone. It's the same thing, except what they're doing is that they're consuming the information, they're consuming the content, right? They're scrolling it like it's seeing, like it's the NBC News, CNBC News or something, and like they're waiting on a red eye, trying to get to their next meeting or something like that, right? And they don't want to publicly signal agreement unless it benefits their brand. And when I took a step back and looked at all of this, I noticed that no matter what kind of interaction you have, even that you made, and you may not even have spoken to the person, you may not even have figured out if you guys are properly aligned or not. Somewhere down the line, that simple connection, even though there were no words spoken, this is just from my personal observation. If I'm wrong, correct me. That somewhere there is a benefit between the brands. There's some sort of benefit there, right? And engagement on LinkedIn it really does seem to be like reputation based. Personally, I don't give a fuck about reputations. I don't give a fuck who you are. I care more or less about your fuck character, and that's about it. But I have realized that people do ask themselves, does liking this content, does liking this post elevate me? And if they are unclear on this topic or whatever it is that they're looking at, they ghost the scroll. Plain and simple. They just straight up down ghost it. Now, another thing I noticed was the positioning gap, right? If your content is valuable, but it's not clearly targeted, the people that you do not know, strangers, right? They're not going to be able to see immediately why it matters to them. You know, clarity converts. This is something I notice a lot of marketers talk about. I speak on this all the time. Clarity is what converts. And if you're not clear, you know, that means you have some sort of vague inspiration. And vague inspiration does not convert. Period, point blank. Then we have the silent audit. This is the one that kind of is like, that has me like this sometimes. Like, okay, like, what are you doing? What are you gonna do? 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 Right? So that's more like the new connections that you get. And they often observe before they even engage. They'll scan your last 3 to 5 posts. They look at your headline. They check your featured section. They're pretty much what they're doing is they're subconsciously asking themselves, is this person authority or are they just noise? Now, if something is inconsistent, they stay quiet. They really do. And that kind of leaves the person who's inconsistent to figure things out on their own. And figuring things out on their own, that shit can take for fucking ever. But hey, thanks to AI like Notion, Gemini, ChatGPT, you can talk strategy now, right? And Ethan K. Simmons follows you. What's up, Ethan? Uh, no, nothing yet. Okay, bet. So let's talk strategy, right? So what you really don't want is just random engagement. You want strategic engagement, because when someone literally connects with you and you don't know them, that's what I would like to consider an opportunity window, because you end up figuring out within the first 24 to 48 hours after connection is prime territory or not. And instead of waiting on them to engage with your content, you flip the dynamic. So what I'll do is I'll send a message. You know, got a connection as I'm doing this live right now, right? I just got a connection. What I would do in that situation is pretty much say, hey, I appreciate the connection. What made you reach out? Or quick context check. What made you add me? How are we aligned? And what this does is it surfaces the intent that you are intending to have with this client or your lead or a prospect, right? It moves you from being passive to actually being active. And it also creates a micro commitment as well, because people engage more in the DMs, just like it says in the song, it goes down in the DM. And that's exactly what happens. And they engage more in the DM post because DMs are private. Public engagement carries perceived risk or a blatant risk as a whole. Now, if you actually zoom out, you, just like myself, are the ones who are building authority, right? And authority is not built by strangers liking posts. Let's just be real. I hear all the time on social media, oh, a stranger will make you rich. I've never had a stranger make me rich. Never in my life. Never have I had a stranger come up to me and unless well, not even when I was homeless, not even when I was on the street. I've never had anyone come up to me and make me rich. I've never had anyone come up to me and say, here's $20. Never. Not once. Not fucking once. And before I go into a rant, because that would have took me down somewhere. I don't even want to talk about that, right? But authority is not built by strangers liking your posts, like I was saying. It's built by actually resonating with the right people. It's built by actually building a actual relationship, or as we like to say in the business field, building rapport with one another. Actually getting to know what are their values, what are their morals, what do they stand for? Does this align with my values? Does this align with my morals? Does this align with my integrity when it comes to building my business? Not the personal aspect, but when it comes to building my business, right? So, in other words, you don't need to add 5 random connections engaging. You don't need to add these 500 randoms just to connect with you to engage with your content. You don't. All you really need is what, 20 aligned people, maybe 15 at the least. And these people are operators. These are founders. These are other C-suite executives who see you as indispensable. You can't be replaced. And I won't lie, there is an uncomfortable and very harsh truth behind this, right? Some people simply connect just so they can grow their numbers. They don't care about anything when it comes to actually building their business. They just want the vanity metrics. Uh, Digital collecting, if that's what you really want to call it, right? And the sad part is they'll never engage with anyone consistently. And you have to realize that's not about you, that's about them. So, for those who know me, you guys know I love Stoic philosophy, right? So, you cannot control who engage with you. What you can control is the clarity, positioning, and consistency that you yourself put out, right? So, my best thing is focus on tightening your message to speak directly a specific pain point. When content feels like it was written for someone personally, engagement becomes reflexive. But there is something deeper, what I would like to say. So, this question I want to pretty much leave you guys with is, instead of asking, why are they not engaging with you? You should be asking, is my content creating identity alignment? Because people engage when they see themselves in your message. When I remember, there's a saying that I used to hear in music all the time. I think it was a Jay-Z song. He said, was it Jay-Z? He was like, Dígame, you got you think you no, not that one. What was the name of that joint? What's the name of it? Oh, he goes, You have to give me you. It's kind of like when Jordan Belfort was the Wolf of Wall Street, right? He was going around telling you, hey, sell me this pen. And each one of these people that he went to, they would sit there and they would give the basic general shit, right? The beginner stuff. They would highlight the benefits of the pen. They would tell you how smooth the pen would write or some shit, right? But in reality, all you really have to say is, hey, I need to write something. Oh, here's a pen. Boom. There you go. The same thing that they did in a fucking movie, right? But anyway, I'm getting off topic again. Don't want to do that. So if I do want to leave you with this statement. If your post makes a founder or C-suite executive or entrepreneur or some sort of nonprofit, if it makes them think that is me, or it makes a nonprofit leader say, hey, he's speaking my language, they're going to start surfacing up. They're going to start engaging with your content. They're going to start sending you more DMs. But that's going to be the end of this live. I'm already in 16 minutes in. That's a little too long if you ask me. I like to keep my lives short. Mainly just so I can like doom scroll myself on social media because hey, you gotta live your life, right? That's part of the work-life balance if you don't know. But right now, I am available for booking. So my calendar is completely open. You guys want to schedule a one-on-one call with me? Links right here. Go on ahead, send over your questions. The booking link will be at the bottom of the page. Okay, it'll be at the footer of the page. Just say book a marketing call right there. It's there. It's fucking there. Okay, but Deuces Shelby, I'm out, and y'all be easy.